Hi, I'm Victor Mound, and I'm a Data Protection and Artificial Intelligence Associate in the Data Protection team at Charles Russell Speechlys. This is part of our series on artificial intelligence, and this time I'll be focusing on data protection issues which impact the development, training, and rolling out of AI systems. Artificial intelligence, or AI, is a top priority for the UK Information Commissioner's Office, the UK Data Protection Regulator, also known as the ICO. This is due to the potential risk to individuals' data privacy rights. The ICO is developing practical tools to help businesses ensure that AI is trained, deployed, and developed responsibly. In light of AI's transformative potential, the ICO has focused on cultivating a pragmatic and risk-based approach towards AI adoption. The ICO's strategy focuses on providing practical guidance to businesses on how to mitigate data protection risks during the AI lifecycle, whilst ensuring that it does not discourage innovation. This perhaps explains why the UK government has not rushed to introduce legislation specifically targeting AI, in contrast to our neighbours and partners in the European Union who have introduced the EU AI Act. The ICO is also monitoring emerging AI technologies. In its January Tech Futures report, the ICO explored the privacy challenges posed by agentic AI. More on that later. What are the data protection issues in relation to how an AI tool is trained? Data protection law is triggered not only in relation to the outputs of an AI tool, but also in relation to the personal data that has been inputted or used to train it. This creates a number of practical challenges. For instance, have the individuals whose personal data is being used for AI training purposes been informed? Do you have a lawful basis, such as consent or legitimate interest, under the UK GDPR to use their personal data for AI training purposes? How do you communicate your use of AI to individuals without creating distrust and skepticism? And if you don't have direct contact with these individuals when training AI, how can you fulfill your transparency obligations? Following its consultation series on generative AI, which ran from January to September 2024, the ICO published an outcomes report addressing 5 key areas. 1. Purpose limitation. 2. Accuracy of training and AI outputs. 3. Controllership across the generative AI supply chain. 4. How to engineer individuals' rights into generative AI models. And 5. The lawful basis for web scraping to train generative AI models. The ICO confirmed that legitimate interest is the only applicable lawful basis for leveraging web scrape data to train generative AI models. However, the ICO noted that in such cases, the balancing test is unlikely to be met due to the high-risk nature of this processing activity, which often occurs without individuals' knowledge. This aligns with proposals in the draft EU Digital Omnibus, which proposes that processing personal data for AI training, development, and testing should be recognised as a legitimate interest, and the European Data Protection Board's position that web scraping techniques may fall foul of transparency, data minimisation, and accuracy obligations under data protection law. This area is evolving quickly. What are the possible data protection risks linked with the outputs generated by an AI tool? Key data protection principles such as lawfulness, fairness, accuracy, and accountability may appear to be at odds with the development of AI systems because there's a lack of insight into how such systems operate. This is known as AI's black box problem. Therefore, using AI without careful consideration could result in organizations unknowingly breaching fundamental data protection principles. AI systems, especially generative AI systems such as large language models, are often trained using vast data sets and the provenance of which may be unknown. This means that in addition to having an appropriate basis for the processing of personal information, important decisions about people may be generated using low quality, out of date, inaccurate, and biased data. The risk here is not only receiving poor and inaccurate outputs, but also generating outputs that discriminate against individuals on the basis of protected characteristics, such as gender, race, or age. As highlighted in the ICO's recent report on agentic AI, additional risks can emerge when these systems have more agency. These include unclear controller roles, where multiple organizations are involved in processing data to enable the agent to function, agents accessing more personal data than strictly necessary to achieve their purposes, agents inferring special category data based off assumptions they make with the data they have, and novel cyber threats introduced by autonomous behavior and AI agents interacting with one another. Thank you for watching, and look out for future episodes of our Decoding Artificial Intelligence series.